All right. Sorry, guys. I was a little bit distracted by, I don't know, you guys probably don't follow the same people that I follow, but one of the people that I follow is called CRS, Charlie Romeo Sierra Firearms. He's a gun enthusiast, blogger kind of guy. Anyway, he took a sponsorship from a company that was selling legal products. And then, I don't know, a year and a half down the road, this company, ATF, comes in and tells this company, oh, we changed our mind. Your stuff isn't legal. So this guy doesn't possess anything. He didn't do anything but promote their products. And today, ATF issued a warrant for him and arrested him. And they're saying that he was co-conspiring with them because he took a sponsorship for them on his YouTube channel. I am dumbfounded by that. But that is not why we are here. That is not why we're here. 4 years ago today, Houston Police Narcotics Squad raided a home in southeast Houston. In the ensuing melee, the homeowners, Dennis Tuttle and Regina, his live-in spouse, were killed by the raid team. Dennis Tuttle was asleep in his bed. He was a disabled United States Navy veteran, handicapped veteran, and he was asleep in his bed. Regina was sitting on the couch in their living room with their pet dog. When the officers kicked in the door, the lead officer, his name is Goins, shot and killed the couple's dog. At that point, officers that were staged outside the house began putting automatic weapons fire from their M4 carbines, which are the derivative of the M16, full auto fire through the walls of the house into the interior, wounding their own officers. At some point during this melee, Dennis Tuttle came out of a back bedroom where he had been sleeping, taking his afternoon nap, armed with a 5-shot snub-nosed .38 special revolver. And according to HPD, he engaged the officers that were still there and up and moving and armed and in gunfire. He himself was shot by one of those officers and went down. The officers were extracted from the home, and then the SWAT team came in. Regina was already deceased. She had bled out pretty quickly, according to the medical examiner. Dennis Tuttle was still alive on the floor in the back hallway near the kitchen. Unconscious, not moving, but still alive. The SWAT officer stuck his rifle through a side window in the house and put rounds into a prostrate and unconscious Dennis Tuttle. The Tuttles were then left there for some 90 minutes to 2 hours to bleed out, to make sure they weren't left to witness against the officers. or tell their story. And then HPD sent a robot in to make sure they were dead before committing entry themselves. We have never been provided with a single photograph of the revolver they claimed Dennis Tuttle used, and it is not accounted for within the documentation that HPD has. According to HPD, the Harris County Crime Lab has possession of that revolver, but it has never, the crime lab has never produced a photograph or any information about it, ever. In the immediate aftermath, the 5 officers that were wounded, mostly by friendly fire, I might add, were touted as heroes by the Houston Police Union. And that's where that famous famous video from Joe Gamaldi, the union rep, comes in, talking about how they're coming after people who talk bad about them and stir the pot against them. How dare you use your First Amendment right to criticize the government thugs? And then, initially, I had heard and believed their story. The narcotics officers went in, these guys resisted, there's a shootout, they're killed. But I got phone calls, and all the local media, that's what they were reporting. And I got some phone calls from some people that lived in the neighborhood, and they said, no, go look at it. Just go look at it. So I drove by the house and looked at it and knew instantly that everything that HPD was putting out about it was a lie. The road was too narrow to park on, and there was only room in the driveway for one vehicle. And yet HPD said that there were vehicles coming and going 24/7 at this drug house. None of it made sense. Everything that HPD said was completely backwards from the crime scene. So I contacted some of my sources in local media, got them involved, and we started digging. And it didn't take a day for HPD's story to begin to unravel. What really happened is, and I'm going to go to some news articles here in a minute, the lady down the street didn't like these people because they associated with her daughter. So she called the police and said that they were selling drugs. The local patrol officers took the call and forwarded a memo to narcotics saying, hey, somebody said these guys sell drugs. Officer Goins never sent an informant in, never made any kind of buy, never even attempted to. But he went and got a warrant saying that he had an undercover go in and make a buy, and that they were armed, and that all these drugs were in the house, and just lie after lie after lie. And that's what precipitated the raid. After the fact, they found a throwdown weapon in Goins' vest and other throwdown weapons in his city-issued vehicle. They found narcotics in his bulletproof vest. I guess those were to plant there. And HPD immediately said, oh, this ain't right. Everybody's suspended till we figure this out. Meanwhile, the Houston Police Officers Union continued to call the officers heroes. They call them the Houston Five. They put up billboards all over Houston asking for donations to the police union to help support these wounded heroes. To this day, the Houston Police Union refers to Gerald Goins, the detective that lied and caused all this, as a hero. He was allowed to retire from Houston PD rather than be fired. Chief Acevedo allowed him to retire. For those that don't know, that was initially what caused the rift between Acevedo and myself. Other officers that were involved were put on paid leave, and the union continued to back them and collect money from donors in their name, and hired them, good lawyers, paid their hospital bills, yada yada yada. During this time, I protested downtown, along with some other activists that, come to find out, were just there to gather information on me, and asked for donations from Houston police officers to cover the burial expenses of the Tuttles. I offered to match whatever I collected in donations. So if HPD officers had given me $500, I'd have given $500 of my own money. I did not collect one single penny while downtown at the Houston Police Union headquarters and the Houston Police headquarters. After the crime scene units were done, I entered the home. I had contacted family members, got permission to enter the home and get video of the crime scene. The Harris County forensics units, that's our crime scene people, had basically destroyed the scene in an attempt to cover up what had really happened there. But it didn't take much to decipher it and to find bullets places they shouldn't have been. All the bullets should have been recovered, but they weren't, including the bullet that killed Regina. The family hired an attorney. I gave those videos to the attorney. I also offered them, anything I could do for them to help. If they needed it, I was glad to assist any way I could, because they were getting no cooperation from HPD, no cooperation from the forensics units. The lawyer hired a forensics guy. They came in, they recovered the bullets, including the bullet that actually killed Regina. How does a crime scene unit miss that? It was stuck in the couch. I could see it. I took pictures of it. And yet, this professional crime scene units missed it. It's because they're intentionally trying to cover up. The whole thing has been, from start to finish, a cover-up. These people died because a cop didn't do his job. Not one cop. This was an entire team. Gerald Goins has been known to me since somewhere around 2013. I knew about him. The Harris County District Attorney's Office knew about him. And yet they left him in a position to cause this to happen. Now, after the fact, the Harris County District Attorney, Kim Ogg, has come in and charged Gerald Goins. She charged his partner, his name's Bryant, and she charged a couple of the other officers. Bryant made a deal to snitch on his buddy, so he'll go to federal prison. He's going to go to, Camp Fed, basically have a vacation. The other officers that were involved had all their charges dropped. And Gerald Goins is out on bond, enjoying his retirement, enjoying his freedom. Meanwhile, 4 years now, the Tuttles have been in the ground. This case should have been given priority early on, and it wasn't. It's a dog and pony show by the DA to make it look like she's going to stand up to crooked cops, but in reality, she's not. So, let me, if I can get my little pointer going here and find the right thing. Hold on. Let me go over to a couple of the news stories on this and let you guys see what's what. This was August the 18th. This is, I believe this is Gallegos. Yeah, Felipe Gallegos was charged this year in connection with the 2019 raid that left Dennis Tuttle, Regina Nichols, a couple living in a raided home on Hardy Street, dead. Here are photographs of the other officers that were involved. This right here is Gerald Goins. That's Dennis Bryant. I believe that's Gallegos there. During a press conference in January, Gallegos' lawyer, famed defense attorney Rusty Hardin, I know Rusty Hardin, he is a good attorney, insisted his client did not know the no-knock warrant was being executed under faulty information. Therefore, Hardin said Gallegos acted in defense of officers and himself when they came under fire that day. Here's the information on other officers that were charged. Now, a lot of this is related to the narcotics unit investigation that followed. Oscar Pardo, HPD, engaging in organized criminal activity, to wit, aggravate theft by a public servant, $30,000 or more, but less than $150, and tampering with a government record, first degree. Sidell Lovings, think he took retirement, engaging in organized criminal activity, yada, yada, yada. Nadim Asraf, Clemente Reyna, all of them, same thing. Now, the HPD narcotics unit is different than most of the narcotics units you see everywhere else. Most departments, in order to avoid having issues with theft and planting drugs and all that kind of stuff, misconduct. I do not know of a department that leaves officers on their narcotics teams undercover for more than 18 to 24 months. HPD has no limit. Goins had been on the narcotics team for, I believe it's 16 years or longer. And, you know, they get this cushy job. They get flash money. They get a sporty car. And all they got to do is, you know, basically have informants go make dope deals and then go and arrest the guys. We'll never know the truth. But we're closer to it because of the civil lawsuit than we would ever be in hearing from Houston Police Department or the Harris County District Attorney or the Harris County Forensic Science Unit. Every person involved in this case should have been fired. The forensics people for doing sloppy work and destroying the crime scene. The detectives that were involved in the raid, they knew what was going on. It was common knowledge. I got a guy on the inside that used to tell me this stuff was going on. But I could never prove it. I could never catch it in action. Everybody knew it. The district attorney's office knew that Goins was unreliable and planted stuff on people. They had dropped cases for it before. He'd been caught from a testimony in court. At the very least, he should have been Brady listed at that point, but they didn't. HPD should have removed him. They didn't. And nothing has changed. There are no limits on how long you can serve in the narcotics unit at HPD still. And this is why I am so devoted to outing every HPD narcotics officer I can find. They've got to be outed until they change. Now, I've stopped going into public and filming them and chasing them down because unintentionally I was catching other agencies. People I don't know are guilty of anything. And I don't want to out those people inadvertently. Unless I know they've done something. Prove to me they've done something. I'll go get them. But I'm not going to put them at risk needlessly and without cause. But HPD, if I catch you, To this day, if I catch you and I can get you without getting, you know, DPS or any of them other guys, I'm coming for you until you change. So, guys, the Tuttles are both buried in the National Cemetery here in Houston. And Bryant will go up to Club Fed and have a nice vacation. And he took retirement, so he gets paid. Goins took retirement. Nothing, I mean, 4 years. 4 years. And he's still walking the streets instead of sitting in prison where he belongs. 2 people died because he lied. Think about that. That could have been, the thing that really bothers me is, that could have been anybody. That could have been you, that could have been me, it could have been anybody. And the Houston Police Union says, it's okay, don't worry about it. That alone should scare you silly. The Houston Police Union, Joe Grimaldi, says, it's okay, don't worry about it. And now Joe Grimaldi has moved on to be, I don't remember if he's number 1 or number 2 at the Fraternal Order of Police, the largest police union in the United States. Think about that and the ramifications. These aren't good cops outing bad cops. These are bad cops supporting bad cops, defending bad cops, protecting bad cops so that they can continue to victimize us. Think about that. Police unions have got to go. Qualified immunity has got to go. And until we do that, you and I, at any time, can be the victim of government thugs' violence. You can be murdered in your home, and what's going to happen to them? They get a paid vacation. You could be murdered on the street. What's going to happen to them? The union will protect them. They'll get a paid vacation. It's wrong on every level there is. For those of you that would like to review exactly what happened with the Tuttle killings, all you have to do is a Google search of Houston, Texas, Tuttle, Tuttle, shootings. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to be angry at what occurred. Because you should. Because it can happen anywhere that crooked cops are allowed to flourish and run rampant. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching this and tolerating me. I appreciate every time that you guys pop in here and view for a minute. It is a privilege to sit here and chat with you. In honor of Dennis Tuttle, the disabled